So for more on the longest shutdown in U.S. government history, let's welcome in Republican National Committee Chairman and Florida State Senator Joe Gruters. Good morning to you, Mr. Chairman. So the shutdown is over. All eyes now shift to the midterms. I mean, do you think that the American people really understand that Democrats used them as leverage? I mean, Congresswoman Catherine Clark said it out loud. Americans were simply leveraged. Do you see this affecting Democrats as the midterms approach next year?
Well, listen, they got nothing out of the deal when it was all over. But what the Democrats are really trying to do is they're trying to stop the momentum that the president's building with the American people. And here in D.C., every single day he's going to bat for the average American. And he's doing such a great job. And this shutdown was just one of their examples in the latest effort for them to try to stop him from what he's trying to do.
So this shutdown showdown also put the Democrats' slide towards socialism front and center, really, as members seem to swap Schumer for people like Sanders and Mamdani. Take a listen.
Candidates all over this country running for local office. We're going to build that movement, grassroots movement, to do what Mamdani did in New York City, all over this country, and create a government that works for everybody, not just the billionaire class.
I'm so sick of this argument, Mr. Chairman. The Democrats are losing the working class here. Is socialism really the ticket back for the left?
Listen, Churchill said that socialism is a disease, and it's a cancer. It needs to be cut out. But what you're seeing is the Democrats doing is they're placating to their far left base, and whether it be Mamdani, AOC, Bernie Sanders, some of these other candidates are popping up in these different states. They are going far left policies, but and that's what's appealing to their voters. And unfortunately, it's a loser move. If you look at where socialists, and you had it just a couple of minutes ago, those bloggers in China, socialism and communism is not a good thing for the average person. 90% of the people that live in these countries live in poverty. We've been fighting it for 100 years, and the fact that people are all of a sudden, they think that this type of structure is the way to go. We have to do a better job, and I think the president is trying to make that point, and I can't wait till these Invest Acts, because what we're doing is we're going to show people what capitalism is all about with this Invest Act in these baby bonds that they push through. That's going to be rolled out in the next 6 months. It's going to be a game changer because people are going to be able to see exactly what happens when they're able to participate in this process.
Mr. Chairman, I think the other thing this also showed is who's the leader of the Democrat Party right now? We know who leads the Republican Party. It's one person, Donald J. Trump. But is it Bernie Sanders? Is it Mamdani? Is it Hakeem Jeffries or Chuck Schumer? I have no idea. And right now, I think the socialists are winning.
Listen, I think the President Trump leads their party because the only thing that the Democrats like to say is they're against the president. And that's what the shutdown was all about. It's their effort to stop the president and all the good things that he's doing. And that's why we have to win the midterms. That's why it's all hands on deck. We have to do everything we can to make sure we maintain the majorities in the House and the Senate, because if we don't, what's going to happen is exactly what you saw all these 43 days in the shutdown. The Democrats are going to obstruct. They're going to impeach. They're going to investigate. They're going to do everything that they can to stop the momentum and stop the president from delivering real results to Americans out there.
And Mr. Chairman, I want to pivot here because the Supreme Court announced Monday that it will review a lawsuit filed by the RNC challenging whether ballots received after Election Day can be legally counted. I know this case focuses on a Mississippi law that allows ballots postmarked by Election Day to be accepted if received within 5 days after the vote. But this is kind of getting outrageous here because then you look at Seattle, the mayor's race from last week. It still hasn't been decided. They're accepting ballots for another 11 days. Do you think the Supreme Court will ban this nationwide? What can you tell us about this?
Well, thank goodness the Republican National Committee is leading the way on election integrity. This is a huge deal that they're going to bring up this case. And listen, this follows along what the president did with his executive order when he came back into office to basically say Election Day is Election Day. There's 17 states out there that allow ballots to be counted past Election Day. And listen, I'm from Florida. I would say we have the golden type system, but it wasn't always the case. And back in 2000, if you remember Bush versus Gore, we had the hanging chads, we were the laughing stock. We're a state of 23 million people, 67 counties. We have Republican and Democrat supervisor of elections, and we could deliver the results within 90 minutes. Everybody's happy. There's no reason why we can't give that confidence in flexibility to all the states to make sure that we, restore confidence in the system. We could do it. Florida did it. And this case is a huge leap forward. I'm so happy they're taking it up because Election Day should be Election Day. These shouldn't be lingering on for weeks and sometimes months.
Hanging chads, that just brings back PTSD for me from a long time ago. Mr. Chairman, though, I do have one question, though. I worry that if you put the limit on Election Day, you actually empower postal worker unions to slow walk ballots in the mail in conservative areas so they're not delivered by Election Day. Does that worry you at all?
No, it doesn't worry me. I have confidence in the system. I think that people, and listen, most states, just like Florida, you have to, it has to be in by Election Day, but they tell you right on the envelope, make sure this is mailed within 5 days of the election. Otherwise, it may not count. And you could also bring these envelopes right to your local supervisors. And if people have, don't have the confidence in their local system, they could do that. But listen, this is a huge step forward. We have to continue to do everything we can to protect the vote and make sure we make it so it's as easy as possible to vote and as hard as possible to cheat.
All right, RNC Chairman Joe Gruters, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Great to see you. All right, let's keep this conversation going.